Hey, hope everybody's doing good. Carl, Brian, coming at you. All righty, let's open this thing up. I'm solo today here, ladies and gentlemen. So that could be a good or bad thing. We're all going to know in about 45 minutes. All right, so let's open up a couple folks here and say hello. And once again, guys, as per always, Q&A call. You guys provide the Q. I will provide the A. And if you got anything, either put your hand up or chuck it in the box. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go to my buddy Sharon. Make sure everybody can hear me. Let's go to Sharon. Could be talking to myself here. You are self-muted, my love. There she is, Sharon.
Oh, hey man, I'm still like in that kind of misty bliss over the weekend, so.
Was it good?
It was so good, but it's drinking out of a fire hose.
I
You
know.
know, even the breakout rooms that we had, they're like, what are you going to implement? And everyone was like, if I took one thing from each person, I'd be doing, I'd be implementing for years, so.
You'd be dangerous.
For
That's good.
me,
So give me, one big takeaway from the weekend. Lay it on me.
So my goal right now is to perfect my use of this software so that I can have the focus groups, because I have the network to set up the focus groups. I just need to really feel confident about this material and being able to them in a way that's valuable to them.
Good stuff. And you feel like you're getting there?
I mean, I'm trying really hard every time I step. That's why I've committed myself to these classes twice a week, because every time I see it in action, I feel a little better. But Pat said something last week about just talking to yourself all the time, doing it out loud and talking to yourself. So, because I don't talk to myself enough already, right?
Your husband might start asking some questions, but you'll know the software really well.
Yeah, he's used to me talking to myself.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry. My wife's the same. All right, cool. So you're going to hook it up. So learning the software, that's committing yourself to that is good, but I gotta press deeper here. What's the action step? Clients kicking ass, taking names. You talked about these live events. Give me what are you doing?
It's funny. We're getting all of these videos, right? As I process the information, the first thing I'm going to do is every morning is just do your 15-minute mantra, the crazy ones of all the money.
Oh, boom. There we go. Give it to us. What is it?
That breathing exercise, super good. But also, Becky said this, get out of your own way. I have said that to myself a good 50 times in the last 3 days.
Okay, well, let me hear you say the crazy one. Give me that. Come on, let me hear it.
What is it? I can't even remember.
Everybody needs to hear it. The crazy ones make all the money.
Yeah.
Getting clients is easy.
Getting clients is fun. Getting clients is easy.
That's it. So those thinking we're completely nuts. Before day 2, I do a little bit of a get everybody rah, like just breathing deep and just, getting it, I don't know, getting out of your own way. Is that kind of what I'm trying to do, Sharon? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's something, you talk a lot about, like, you have to take care of your body as well as your mind in order to be in that space to give. And that breathing is just one of those things. But, the other is, knowing your authenticity, that being able to speak in using the power words. So was it Marshall?
Marshall, yep, Silver.
And Kevin, who were just all about
Kevin Connor.
Kind of that influential way of speaking. That's part of the practice sessions. That's why I have to talk to myself, because I want to capture those phrases and set myself up to actually be using words that make people move and not just think.
Yeah, cool. And okay, so as you're doing that, just it's going to sound almost like you know what I mean? So obvious, but frankly, it's not. But just always going to the benefit, right? Like you're not running a webinar, you're creating a 2-hour master class that when the business owners walk out of there, they are going to be armed with a step-by-step instruction on exactly how they are going to market their company for the next 10 years. A little bit dramatic, but you get the idea, like always talking in a benefit, always talking in the results. Well, not always, obviously, right? But always going in that direction. Huge mistake business coaches, marketers make is they talk in, platitudinal, this, that, and the other, and all this. Like, again, it's not a focus group. It's not a webinar. This is a presentation that's got the capacity to change your life. It's like everybody always says that they give people access to the 52-week curriculum, right? And then no one logs in. And it's like, okay, but you need to see this as your fault, not their fault, right? Like, how did you present the 52-week curriculum? Nobody wants a 52-week curriculum. What they want is the result that the 52-week curriculum is going to give them, right? So, anyways, a little bit of a hack.
That's speaking to, what was the phrase that somebody said? I will not selling in a focus group. Like, you're not selling anything. You're just providing value. I mean, that to me is so, like,
100%.
to sink in. And then ultimately, I think it was Kevin who said it, I'm not sure, but it was the notion of you have to be in that position where somebody trusts you more than they trust themselves to solve the problem that they have that they don't want. And that to me, it's all about speaking authoritatively.
Yeah, I love it. And actually, so if we go, and by the way, guys, questions, I need some questions here and I'll happily open them up. But yeah, Sharon, so here, like as an example, you probably heard, Tony Robbins, before he gets on stage, I can't remember quite what it was, but before he walks on stage, he basically puts himself in a state where he's going to walk on stage and he is going to give the audience everything they need to make a change now, right? He doesn't get out there. He's not trying to work out how to convert them. He's not trying to work out how he can make some money. He's not working out how he can keep them awake. What he's talking about is he's going to channel, God is going to channel him to basically say and do whatever is necessary to make these people move and move now in a positive direction for their life, right? So in other words, before you get up on stage, if you step on stage or you click go on your webinar and your 100% focus is to change the life of every single participant in that room, you can imagine that all of a sudden the manner in which you carry yourself and the depth and breadth that you're able to go in order to find the solution, like when you open somebody up and they ask a question, instead of giving the surface level thing and then the one that, geez, I wonder what I could say in order to get them to book an appointment. And not that you would ever do that, and I'm not talking to you, Sharon, right? I'm talking to the entire group. But like, no doubt you can see how that puts you in a totally different place. Right?
Absolutely. So, and so then it comes back to and just to circle back into exactly what we're talking about is like this notion of that imposter syndrome. Does everybody believe at some point or another that they are? Yes. But when you walk out with that kind of mind frame and you're getting out of your own way, essentially, because you're saying this is not, I'm not failing at this. I'm doing something purely for someone else, to change someone else's life. Then you're getting out of your own way because you're not tripping over your own words and concerned that you're a phone.
That's it. I love it. It comes from like such a higher, you know what I mean? This comes from a higher place. And, again, so if you're trying to work out how to make $100,000, there's a level of distinction that you will get and some ideas that will come to you. But when you're looking to find a way to, feed the community, feed the city, feed the entire state, feed the entire nation, the level of breakthrough, an idea that will come to you will be that, the other one times 1,000, if not 1,000,000, right? So anyways, I love it. I love the mindset shift, but that's it. So bottom line, get that. When's the first presentation or the next presentation?
So it's really a matter of getting my pieces in a row because like I said, I have already a position. Like I've had the Chamber of Commerce wants me to speak already. They already told me that. So it's just a matter of booking the time, which I think Adrian said something about 3 to 4 weeks out. And then I need to spend that 3 and 4 weeks just, really going over this information so that it's not just that I'm going to demonstrate this software. That's not it. It's because inside of this software is literally the language that I need to speak. So it's just a matter of me talking this software out loud and really understanding it. And then I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I had another guy today, I had a chat with somebody who, I will have you know, likened me to Gary Vee.
He did?
He did.
Oh, wow, cool. There you go. Shit.
Yeah. And
Good.
so he's, we were talking about the dentist presentation to someone about, the employment issue. Employment is such a horrible, horrible issue that so many businesses are dealing with right now, finding good employees and giving them a path. That, this guy is an HR IO guy, and he's like, I'll set you up and we'll do an event together. So I'm ready to move on that.
Okay. I got to press you a little bit. Again, you should have that date. Like you just got to book this stuff. You know the drill, right? Answers come.
Yeah, what's today?
Like reasons come first, answers come second. So get that bad boy.
Yeah,
booked.
that was another thing. That's the part that I have to get out of my own way.
Yeah.
So I'll
So book it.
Yeah, in the mid February. I just gotta book it, like you said.
I'm gonna push for 2 weeks. You're talking about 4 weeks.
I gotta do mid-February because I really want to get that book. I have that book submission.
Whoa. No. Everybody, look, I gotta go into coaching mode.
Now I'm going backwards.
No. Oh, forget the book. Forget everything.
I love the
right?
book. I built a great.
The book's going to be amazing, but the book's coming, right? If the book's there, not there, that's not going to make the difference, right?
Can I use the cover without the book? Is that okay?
You could. There you go. You just came up with a solution, boom, right? Because the book is coming. There you go. I'm going to say 2 weeks from today, you book that bad boy and just let it work itself out. You're ready. You're so ready. And by the way, everybody listening, Sharon's been to multiple of our live events, so she's ready to explode. So and she's already doing well, by the way, but she's looking to take it next level. So let's do this, Sharon. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, look, I'm going to put you back on mute. Good job, good banter. But I think you should put your foot on the gas and get that next event booked and ready to rock. All right?
Yeah, I knew what day it was. What's 2 weeks from today?
2 weeks from, well, hang on. I'll tell you exactly what that is.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from today would be the 2nd of February. Bingo, bango, bongo.
I love it. Groundhog Day is one of my favorite holidays.
Okay, so let's do it. Done? Are we booking it?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm putting it on my calendar. Sharon.
So I already got one person in, huh?
What's that?
So I already have one person signed up, huh?
Me, I'll be there. There you go. There you go. I'm sending you a calendar invite for it, by the way. Look at this. So, sending. There you go. Done deal. It's official. Everybody's here. Groundhog Day. Sharon is doing a presentation. If there's 2 people there, it's going to be really good practice. If there's 20 people there, you're going to make a lot of money. Who cares?
Yeah, actually, I do have one signed. I do have an event on January 28th where I'm speaking that I just remembered as I look at my calendar. So, yeah, okay. I can do another one.
There we go. Do it. Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. Appreciate you, Sharon.
Thanks.
All righty. Who's got a question here? Brian. I need some questions here, folks. Yo, Mr. Brian Duckworth, hanging out in Bells Beach, Australia. Lucky man. It must be bright and early there for him. 5 a.m. by my calculations. Brian Duckworth, there you are. How goes it, buddy?
How are you, Carl?
Doing great, mate. How you going?
Good. I'm just looking at my notes from the weekend. And I've managed to condense it down to sort of like a spreadsheety thing. And it's interesting to see going through, and what I did the big show, which was the purpose of their the talk, then action 1, action 2, action 3, and then keys to action. And I'm just looking at Nina's big show for her was authority, marketing, and positioning. The actions I took out of it were list 10 potential businesses, systemize the 6-stage sequence mailing. And 3, always be marketing, direct mail, offer, and use the prep video and be a podcast guest. And then some of the keys to action: own your own media and the books. And I've done that with each of them. And you sort of get to be a bit of a pattern there. Use the system and events.
Events, is that, yeah? Events?
Yeah, focus group, stroke, whatever.
Yeah.
No
question. Events are magic.
Raise the energy.
And what? Missed that?
Pattern hour. Action 3 is when you make your first call, raise your energy and schedule the PAS session.
So give me the one that stands. Which one jumps off the spreadsheet at you?
Events. Get back into on the horse and do the focus groups or live virtual events.
Live events, yeah. That's what Sharon was just saying too, right? So there you go. So when's your next one?
I'm scheduling it for 3rd of Feb.
Boom. There we go. Look at that. See that, Sharon? He's listening. Boom. Day after yours. Boom. I'm putting that on my calendar too, by the way.
Wow. I've got
All
one.
right. Here we go. Yeah. Don't be disappointed if I'm not there. You get a couple things going on, but you're on my calendar. Hang on.
But the interesting thing I got out of it was Marshall Silver.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I've got absolutely no notes on his talk, and I found it personally a little bit surprising. I was totally engrossed for the whole 45, 50 minutes, whatever it was.
Is that right? And what stood out from his talk? Like what? Just what do you mean? His confidence, or what are you talking about?
I'm not really sure. I was glued to the screen and what he was talking, but as to get a specific dot point out of it, I can't. Whether I was too engrossed in the listening rather than writing. Everyone else I've got notes on. And that surprised me because normally I'm pretty good with notes.
Yeah. Maybe Brian, if I could, so everybody listening, Marshall Silver, if you don't know who that is, many of you will and do. Marshall Silver is a client of ours, and he is, well, one stage, I don't know, if he wasn't, I think he promoted himself as the world's #1 hypnotist. And by the way, his own Vegas show, he's been on Howard Stern, he's been on David Letterman many times, all those big talk shows, he's been on all of them. And to say that he can move you in a talk is like pretty much an understatement. Heavy, like I said, in the internet marketing world, he'd be nothing short of a god. So anyways, yeah, Brian, I'm not overly, and anybody listening who wasn't at the event, I'm going to highly, highly recommend. I think Adrian sent out an email here in the last little bit. You can grab the recordings. I'm going to really suggest that you do. And then, of course, you're going to get the record. For those of you that attended their recordings, and I want to encourage you to go in there and revisit this stuff, because obviously there was just some really high-end content, step-by-step delivered. And then if you weren't there, grab the recordings, but then don't do what many people do and then buy the recordings and allow that to make you feel better. In other words, don't watch them, buy the recordings, watch the recordings, and do what Brian has done, and watch every single one of the presentations and take some notes, because there was some serious, serious power in there. So anyway,
Dennis
so
with his stuff, unbelievable.
What's sorry?
Dennis Homan with his, like Nina had list 10 potential businesses. Dennis had 10 to 15 Facebook connects per day. So much linking of success with the same thing.
Yeah. Well, during Dennis's presentation, one of our guys, in fact, I think did I open him live, or maybe I just said, like he said, the comment. At some stage we opened him there, but Jason Littrell, he might even be here actually, by the way. Let's have a look. No, he's not here. So Jason, he basically, he said he has Dennis wasn't done his presentation, and Jason had 3 live conversations with his ideal clients going on Facebook. So like, holy smokes. So there you go. There you go. Stuff was actionable, folks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. But anyway, so anything else? So for everybody listening, so number 1, Brian, is get out of your own way and get these live events happening and happening ASAP. What's the next biggest takeaway?
I thought that listing 10 potential businesses and Facebook connects from Dennis would probably be the next.
Yep.
Although Dave McKenzie with his secret questionnaire scorecard is a good third there. And the mini marketing makeover.
Good old Canadian boy.
Well, there you go. Expect no less.
Sharon has just sent in a message here for everybody. Watch your 3 favorite presentations 5 times. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
There you go. But just make sure you implement one step in front of the other, folks. There we go. All right, Brian. So anything else for our fine folks? And any questions on Profit Acceleration software, buddy?
I did a presentation to an accountant last Thursday. Went well. I thought my presenting of sort of a little bit of a combination of why accountants need it, linking it to the Profit Acceleration software and ELMS. It was a bit flaky. The tech went wrong. Go figure. But the big issue that I came out of that presentation was that I didn't get a link between Profit Acceleration software and ELMS as strongly as I thought I should have. Yep. So it'd be good to get your take on how the two work together.
Yep. Okay. Well, first of all, so answer to that is that, we go through Profit Acceleration software is designed to help you, convert somebody into a high-end client, right? No doubt that makes sense, right? You get together, find them $100,000, say, holy smokes, look at this. We haven't even got through, 30% of what I was going to go through. We're already at $100,000. Imagine what the future looks like. Here's a pair of shades. The future's so bright. We both got to wear them. And then you get yourself a high-end client. Agreed? Like that's kind of the premise.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the back end of that, they're flat broke. Okay. Now you take them, because it's all well and good to find the money, but now they need to really go and deploy. They need step-by-step instruction. And of course, motivation, right? What do they say? Like, you should have a bath every day because, what's that? What am I trying to say? Like motivation is great, but it doesn't last. Same with showering, right? Same sort of idea. So while you're there, you're in the moment, they're going to be fired up. They're going to be thinking about it. What you really need to do is kick them into what on a consistent basis. So 3 times a week, there's your e-learning system. So number 1, they are flat broke. They can only afford $100 a month. Now you've got something to help them, hold them accountable, give them the answers. Think of it as the answers at the back of the book on steroids, right? Now they do convert. So that's the guy who can't afford you. So you put them in at $100, $200 a month. Now, what happens when they can't afford you? Now they're paying you $2,000 a month. Well, what are you teaching on? What am I teaching on? What is Tony Robbins teaching on? What is, you name the, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, whoever, right? What do we teach on? Goal setting, time management, staff recruitment, staff training, staff development, leadership, cutting costs, creating a sales process, making a website that actually can, creating a website that works online, right? Well, instead of you getting on the phone and you explaining to me X's and O's for 45 minutes, like let's say goal setting, right? And explaining SMART goals and how they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with time restraints, etc. Instead of you explaining that on the phone, or during our coaching call, in other words, educating me, what you want to do is send me to the video. And now we get on the phone for our coaching call, and your coaching call was about application. It's like, well, you watch the video, you know what SMART goals are. What did you come up with? You follow me? So So your coaching is now about implementation and kicking them in the pants, the pants, and then tough love, as opposed to educating. So the same system that you give away for free or you sell for $100 to $200 a month is the same one that you use to support your high-end coaching. And then not to mention, and I think the X factor here, when you're talking with an accountant, a joint venture, you go to the accountant, you say to them, you must have all kinds of clients, that ask you, A, they don't get marketing, B, they ask you marketing questions that you really don't have the time to answer, and then C, those that, attempt marketing and think that they know marketing, but they're really quite lost. Would you agree, Mr. Accountant, you have a lot of clients that fit that bill? Oh my God, you just described 90% of them. Well, guess what? I want to donate to you 5 memberships to my e-learning platform. Again, I just explained it all a minute ago. I just showed it to you. At full retail, at $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. So if you give them 5 memberships, that's $30,000 of value that you're giving to them upfront for free. So now you're like Santa Claus and you're like, look, let me just give you a few of these to give away. Or an example that I've given many times in the past, you go to the radio station and give them 5 memberships. What do they use them for? Remember the radio station, remember problem, solution. Everybody's looking for ideas and you want to start looking for problems. The problem the radio station has is that they're looking for advertisers, right? Well, the radio station says, what am I going to do with these 5 memberships? They run a draw on the radio that says, hey, if you want 2021 to be your best year yet, you really want to knock it out of the park, mentorship is something you need to undertake. The good news is at BrianDuckworthAcademy.com, we are providing the 15th caller a 12-month mentorship. So be the 15th caller and win a free 12-month mentorship to BrianDuckworthUniversity.com, right? They get 35 calls. The 15th caller wins. The radio station now has 35 people that they can sell advertising to, right? You see, and then now the 15th caller wins. They've got to go back and forth with you. Now you're building a relationship, a solid relationship, a long-term relationship with the radio station. And by the way, if you go form that relationship with 10 radio stations, expect 8 of them to go nowhere. But the 2 that do, if you get a couple of radio stations sending people your way, could you imagine as a business coach how busy you'd be? And then the example I just gave you for the radio station, just adjust it slightly for the accountant, the bookkeeper, the business broker, the networking organization, the graphic designer, the web designer, anybody going B2B, right? So now, as I always say, when I form a joint venture, I want to be Santa Claus, not the Grinch. The biggest, huge mistake that people make when they, coaches make when we go to form joint ventures is that we're the Grinch, not Santa Claus. In other words, we go to the radio station and we say, hey, send me some of your advertisers. And what I'll do is I'll charge them $2,000 a month. I'll coach them and I'll give you 20% of everything they pay me, right? So 20% to $2,000, that's $400. So every month I'm going to send you 400. I'll start paying you as soon as they start paying me. And if they ever stop paying me, of course, I'll have to stop paying you, right? Like, again, I got a 7-year-old daughter. She could come up with that value proposition for the accountants, right? Or the radio station or whoever. So you want to position yourself as Santa Claus, not the Grinch. You're always giving away your bearing presents. So that is the answer, long-winded one, that I would give you for how the e-learning system, it's not so much how it complements Profit Acceleration software. It's like how it complements the overall value proposition that you're bringing to the party. Make sense, Brian? That help?
Absolutely. I was actually on that track, so I wasn't too far out of it. So I've got to work on the presentation so that a 5-year-old can understand it.
When you work that out, let me know. But there you go. So, but I think the answer to your question, like the e-learning system, it's not, think about it as the answers. Like we've got the answers at the back of the book, right? Like if I go here, everybody have a look at my screen here. We go implementation and we click market dominating position, and I refer to this as the answers at the back of the book, right? Those of you who don't know the story, so we were developing all of this. One of the things I was talking about, it's like I remember when I was going to high school, like I wasn't the greatest student in the world, but I'm not a dummy, right? Like I could have done it, but I just didn't want to, right? I just showed up, went through the motions, whatever. I remember the day that I went into like grade 10 high school and I got my math textbook, but I got my textbooks, math specifically, and it had the answers at the back of the book, right? So in other words, it had the questions in the front. And then if I wanted, so what would happen is, always think of my like little red arrow, you are here. What I was now able to do is I could read the question, and that told me that was obviously like effectively the starting point. And then I could go to the back of the book and look at the answer. And then when I had the question, I had the answer. Again, I was clever enough to be able to draw the straight line. Boom, guess what? I ended up doing pretty well in school, right? Well, that's an exaggeration as well. But at the end of the day, I breezed it in because I had the answers at the back of the book. That was like a real turning point for me. So, turning point, wrong, bad words, but you get the idea. It just made life a million times easier for me as a lazy student, right? So this is the answers at the back of the book. You're looking, hey, Carl, how would you create a market dominating position? Bingo, bango, bongo. You go here and you click it. Or, whoopsie, you hit any other, additional products and services. Again, how would we do it? Answers at the back of the book. But this is all text and whatnot, not delivered in automated fashion. This is for you as the business coach, not so much for the client. So the e-learning system is the answers at the back of the book for the client. So
Cool.
I hope that helps, Brian.
Absolutely.
Cool,
Thank you kindly.
Awesome, buddy. Okay, cool. I'm going to put you back on mute. There we go. Who am I getting? I know who I got to talk to. Daniel Hassler. There he is. Daniel. Hey, you're live, boss. What's happening? Fabulous. Man, I haven't had a chance to speak to you since that testimony. I'm not sure what it was, but that testimonial on freaking steroids. I think I need a stronger word than testimonial, but
yeah, that
thank
got
you
some
so much, man.
Of course, yeah. No, it was from the heart, and I just it was just in the moment. I was like, man, people got to know. Like this is extra. I mean, my goodness, man. I've been in some kind of a sales training since I was doing door to door as a kid. So there's so many different programs and seminars and whatnot out there. But what you guys have going is just it's phenomenal, and I love how practical application it is, and that if you follow what you guys are teaching, I mean, anyone can be successful at this.
Yeah. Actually, so for those that don't know and some haven't seen it, give us the Daniel one, because I didn't know, man. I didn't know. I was like, holy smokes, there we go. But tell us your background.
Well, I've been in sales, like I said, since I was a little kid, door to door, and then I joined Tony Robbins back in 1998, and boy, did that change my life. Worked with him at his world headquarters in San Diego for several years. Then there were some rumblings in the company. He was getting divorced. Things, he went through a rough patch, and a lot of us left. And I got into tax law and did that for a decade. And a decade was probably 5 years too long to be in that industry. It bored the heck out of me, but helped a lot of people, businesses that had tax debts. And about 8-10 years ago, a good buddy of mine who was still at the organization said, "Dude, you've got to come back. We've created this program called Business Mastery." And, it's transforming business owners' lives, and it's Tony's best work, and, you got to come join the team. And so I wasn't looking at the time, but he kept following up with me, and maybe a year or two later, I got involved and did that for 7 years. I was one of 6 people on his team, his senior business strategist. I had clients in 85 countries around the world, and they were all business owners, of course, every type of, whether startup or near billionaires, they were businesses that were in trouble or businesses that were looking to grow. And so, his program was phenomenal, and I do one-on-one consultations helping them grow and scale. And then COVID hit, and unfortunately, it really hit us hard. We were a live event services company, and everyone wanted refunds, understandably. And it basically, our department dissolved, and it just at that moment I knew, okay, it's time to grow up, time to grow, and what's the next move? Yeah. And here we are.
Love it. So hanging out with Tony, I didn't realize even the other. So you've been with Tony Robbins for like 20 and collectively a couple decades.
Yeah, I first started with him in '98, and was back then we only had 99 employees in the company, and there were 6 of us that basically were his entire sales department. So someone could call in and ask for his shoe size, they'd get us. They could call in
Yeah.
and want to order Personal Power 2, we'd sell it to them, or Master University for 10 grand, we'd sell them that. So we were the front lines for everything. And then, as the organization changed over the years, I came back on in around 2013 in his business mastery division.
Cool. So hanging out with Tony for so long, give us the what's the number one thing you've learned from Tony Robbins?
State, it's so important. Like this weekend on I think it was the morning of day 2 when you got everybody to do the breathing exercise and to focus and realize what our mission really is here. Sure, it's great, all the benefits and what we can get for ourselves through this work, but this is about serving others. And when you can manage your own state, you can influence others. One thing Tony taught me that I love is that when two people meet and when rapport is present, the person who's most certain will always influence the other. So it's important every morning to prime yourself to make sure that you're in a state of mind, physically and mentally, so that you can do what needs to be done.
Well, I've heard that. I love that. So I just want to make sure everybody heard that. Yeah. So like you meet somebody and there's rapport, right? If you guys have been through any kind of sales training, you'll know that step number 1 is before you go and do anything that resembles selling, you got to build rapport, right? Make them like you would be another way of describing that in a perfect world. When there is rapport, the person that is most certain influences the other person. So the power of that is you don't need the perfect sales script. You don't need the perfect this, that, and the other. You got to be more certain than the other person. That's hugely powerful. Wow, I love that. Love it. Well, dang, man. Yeah. So, and by the way, I got your message there. I'll get back to you on Facebook there when we're done. But I appreciate it, Daniel. And what about it? And maybe actually, I'll pressure them too on the event over the weekend. What would be your number one takeaway?
Well, there were several, but this is the second time I heard it because I did the training in November as well, and I kept hearing the talk of like, hey, you got to specialize, you got to find your niche. So I took the leap. I said, screw it, I'm doing this. So I chose my niche. I changed my profile pages, and I've been reaching out on Facebook specifically to just those kind of business owners. And I'm already, in fact, as we speak right now, I'm chatting with one on Facebook on Messenger. And so, niching up, if you will, but also I love the very simple and powerful statement, don't sell, help. Because when you come from a place of authentically looking to help that business owner, they're going to engage with you. They're going to want to work with you. And, the selling is by the wayside because it'll just naturally happen. They're going to want to work with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So did you get that and that was from the seminar though? Just, Yeah.
I forget who it was that said, don't sell, help. In fact, I could probably look at my notes real quick here and find it. But it was Matt McNeil who said that. And
cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yep. And there's, my gosh, man, I'm going through it today. I've got so much from it, so many different, I can't wait to get the recordings to go through it again. Because like the other gal just said, it was like, a fire hose, but boy, it was a lot of fun. a lot of great information for sure.
Awesome. Love it. All right, man. Well, Daniel, appreciate you, buddy. I'm going to put you back on mute. Awesome. Such an honor to have some legends on board as we do. Oh, I know you have to open up. Okay, guys, I need some questions, by the way. What's happening? Without Pat here, nobody wants to ask a question. Dave McKenzie. Bob and Doug. I might start calling him Bob and Doug. He was one of our speakers. And doing some big numbers. There he is. Bob and Doug. What's happening, buddy?
What's happening? Well, it's not a good day here.
No, what do you mean? Why?
They just turned us COVID red, so.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Ski Hill's closing.
Where are you? New Brunswick? Where are you again?
Brunswick, yeah, in southern New Brunswick. We were doing really good, but then it's been bad for the last 10 days. So. Yeah, so that's going to make things interesting.
So does that mean lock? What does that mean? Locking you down or what?
I don't think it will. It means I can't go skiing, can't go to the gym. My wife who works at the gym every afternoon and evening is going to be home with me all evening. So, trying times.
All right. Cool. Well, we loved your presentation. So I got a question for you too. What's your number one takeaway from the weekend?
I'd say Dennis's presentation, and well, Adrian's too. Yeah, those would be the two. But that idea, his script for the gatekeeper was just, awesome. And,
Yeah. Which could be adjusted. Yeah. Again, those listening that weren't there, Adrian did a bang up presentation, just step by step, and then it comes with a 28-page download that's just basically just scripts and steps and just do this, do that, say this, leave this, and
they were great. But it was Dennis.
Pretty
It was
damn good.
Dennis that the one for the gatekeeper. Remember the one where he said you just get on there and start talking and just make it feel like she's the owner's. You don't ask for the owner. You just start. I don't remember it word for word, but it was awesome. So yeah, no.
Kevin Connor had a process for that also that I thought was pretty gold.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, no, there was just so much stuff. Like everybody said, I think your best advice was at the start of the weekend to say, can't do it all. Pick 2 or 3.
That's it. That's what you got to do. Q and Anna's. All right, buddy. Well, good
Just
having
one
you here.
quick
We loved your
question.
presentation. Got lots of positive feedback.
Quick question. Do you
Oh,
know
sure.
when
Go.
they're coming out with the combination 100K in 45 and the using the software?
Oh, the new training?
Yeah.
As far as that, like, it's well and surely done. It just might be getting packaged up.
Okay.
Ask Adrian. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it could actually. I apologize. It could actually be that's been done for a bit. It was just a matter of
Right.
bringing it all together. There's some moving parts there. So it
Cool.
could be live, and if it's not live, it'll be live very shortly. But ask Adrian; he'll be able to tell you if that's cool.
And I sent my magazine to the printer today. So.
No, did you? Boom.
Yeah.
You handsome. With your handsome mug on the front?
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll probably be able to put it in an Indigo and sell it.
With a mug like that, if we were always good
You
looking
got
as you, Bob and Doug, we'd be good. All right, buddy. Appreciate you, bud. You're a legend, man.
Okay,
I'll put you back on mute. Good job, David boy. All right, folks. Well, look, I don't have any questions. Answered a few here. Actually, hang on. Let's go to the back. Let's go to the very end of the board. Bert Lockard's here. Let's talk to Bert, see what he has to say, and then if nobody's got any questions, I'm going to bolt. Bert, you are self-muted, my friend. Got to unmute yourself. There he is. Bert, you are live.
Hey, Carl, how are you doing?
Doing fabulous, buddy. What's happening?
Oh, just going over my notes from the weekend. So a lot of great information. But I actually did have a question about the software.
Oh, boom. Let's go. Hit me.
So, so I was doing a PAS presentation, and we got to the back to the summary. And after we went through, and we had done some things around generating doing cost cuts. But yet when we went to the summary, it looks like when you look at expected revenue increase, it looks like that cost cut is showing up in the revenue increases. Am I looking at that wrong? Or so, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at your screen right now. And if you can see under expected revenue increase, when you look at cost cuts, it shows $9,000.
So you're seeing that on my screen right now? Is my screen? Oh, hang on a second. My screen is paused. That's why. Okay, so $9,000. But
so if you cut
so
costs, that wouldn't actually increase the revenue, would it?
No, and it shouldn't have. It did. But it'll increase the profits, though.
Yeah, no, well,
Remember,
no,
right?
But the title says expected revenue increase. So that was just something that the business owner
So the
brought up.
report, so you went to the report here, and this is what you mean here, 338 grand?
No,
Like,
if
is that what you mean?
no, go back to the summary.
Okay, yep.
So I haven't seen the report yet, but when we went back to the summary, we went through only four different areas, and we did the cost cut, and then we went back to the expected revenue increase. Now, I know that the profit increase is a different number, but the expected revenue increase, and I made the mistake. I didn't think it was a mistake at the time, but saying that now cost cutting will not actually increase your revenue. It will increase your profits, but not your revenue. And then when I showed him the summary, sure enough, there was in the expected revenue increase, there was a number showing that the cost cuts actually made a change.
Yeah, I'm not, so are you sure that you isolated and only did cost cutting? You didn't do two at the same time?
No, we did four different,
Yep.
we did increasing prices, market dominating position, and joint ventures and cost cuts. And so we had revenue increases in all of those different areas, but I wasn't expecting to see a revenue increase under cost cuts.
Yeah, I think you might have just, because you wouldn't have, just because again, because that impacts the profit. I don't have an answer for you, because I think what I would do is go through and do a dummy, do it on your own, without a business owner there, and do exactly that, see what happens. But I think you're going to find that you just act, you know what I mean? Like the numbers in the moment, you might just not have locked in exactly what the revenue was, and the revenue had gone up for something else, but cost cutting just spread on the profit, because cost cutting doesn't, it doesn't affect profit. It's not going to affect the revenue.
Yeah, that was my thought as well. As a matter of fact, like I say, I mentioned it to him as we were going through it, so it was kind of a surprise when I did see that number down there. So it may just be something that I did, or or I'll go back and look at that on my own.
Yeah. Again, because you would have had to isolate, like you would have had to do the three areas, go to revenue, lock in that number, then go to cost cutting, and then do your figures to see the spread in only profit and not revenue, right? So are you sure that you did that?
No, we went through all four areas first before.
Yeah. But see, so if you went through all four areas at one time, then so the revenue was moving for the other three, but not cost cutting. And cost cutting just spread on profit.
Yeah. So,
looking
at your screen right now. So if you cut costs,
yep.
Why would there be just cutting costs by 3%? Why would there be $9,000 show up there?
Oh, is this what you mean? You mean actually here? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to find that's profit. This is where we get to the 190 total profit impact, 193,000.
Okay, but the title of that block says expected revenue increase.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Now I'm jiving with you. Okay, now I'm jiving with you. Interesting. You know what? This is an answer Pat would be best to be giving you. So you know what? He's back on Tuesday. So do me a favor, Bert. Come armed with that question we will ask. And I'll fire him an email, by the way, when we're done. So I'll know that. But yeah, good question. I just think you're going to find that this is just here because it would look weird. Like to have zero here wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I think that you're going to find and see how much smaller the number is. I think you're going to find that that's just profit.
Okay, and I thought maybe, I know that there is a compounding effect exponentially as you go through some of it, and some of that may bleed over into cost cuts.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll make sure next Tuesday I call in when Pat's there.
There you go. So the one question I get on the software, I'm not able to answer properly. There you go. That's funny. Anyway, it's all good. And tell us about the event. What did you think? What was your number one takeaway?
Well, and I'm gonna put this on the Facebook post, but you know, I almost didn't do the event this weekend. I mean, the first event was so great, and you know, I've only implemented a fraction of what I learned from the first event, and I thought, well, you know, I can't learn that much more in doing it again, and it be of that much more value because I'm still trying to implement what I learned in November. But the last day I went ahead and signed up, specifically to get the book, but then you know, I thought, well, I'll learn, there'll still be something else that I'll learn. I was just amazed at how much more that was shared by the presenters. It was just, it was better than the first one. I'll just tell you that. And, you know, after only 2 months, I was surprised, you know, that it could be that much better. I will tell you the one, Dennis, in his presentation, I do a lot of work with business owners that are service oriented. And so, you know, his ideal of, and I agree 100%, you know, employee issues and keeping good employees are in that industry is the number one thing that they look at. And his idea of putting together a 6-week boot camp for that industry to address the issues that they're facing, that's just a tremendous idea. So, you know, that's something I'm going to implement. You know, I hope to reach out to him and maybe get a little bit of guidance as to, you know, some of the major topics that he covered. But yeah, that was the main takeaway that I took, and one thing that I'm going to implement.
I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, hang on. Actually, I'm going to try something here before I let you go. And what was tell us the second most impressive thing?
I think, you know, what I heard around social media marketing, and I believe that was Becky that went over the different social media platforms. And
yep. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's I haven't done a whole lot with social media marketing, but I am going to. I've been on Alignable, but you know, I really haven't done much with it. So I'm going to clean up my profile there and start trying to make more connections on that. So, and I think that'll also help me in my certified coaching business as well.
Beautiful. Love it. And by the way, look, I've worked it out here for you. Okay. So see the new, like gross revenue is 1338. This is just profit. Yep. So I went through and made that zero. See the way this has come to zero, but revenue has not adjusted, but profit has. So if I go into cut costs, and then I'm going to chuck, what do I have in there? A 3% improvement. And now I submit it. And then I come back to summary. This is back at 9,000, but once again, revenue is the same. And then profit increased by 9%, by 9,000. So it would look funky to not have a number at all in there. So it's kind of an aesthetic thing. The rest of them are all the same. It's just cut costs as profit only instead of revenue.
Okay, so if I were to add all those numbers up, then the $9,000 wouldn't be added to reach that revenue increase.
Exactly. Well, let's watch this. See this 1338? I'm going to go to cut costs, and I'm going to turn that to zero, and that number will still be 1338. So yes, the answer. Make sense?
Okay.
There you go. Good pickup, though, Bert. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
Awesome. Okay, buddy. Well, look, appreciate it, man. I'm going to put you back on mute. And, okay, well, there you go, folks. As per, I should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, Pat is away. Boy's moving to Kenya. Crazy bugger. Bit of a dream of his that he's managed to make it all happen. So he will be in Kenya soon. Anyways, he'll be back next Tuesday. He'll be back. But Thursday, I'm doing her solo. Today I was solo. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. So appreciate you folks. I'm going to say goodbye for today's Profit Acceleration call. Thanks so much, folks.